Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have a pretty interesting topic going on over here. It's also been floating around on the social media side for quite some time. And this real topic is going to be, do we even need this PlayStation 5 Pro? Now, we've talked about this maybe in a passing video a few months ago, but right now there's been even more news, more leaks, more information, and everything coming out from the PlayStation 5 Pro that makes it seem a lot more, well, likely. And now, as we kind of go look through these information, we see the specs, we see the price points, a lot of folks keep on wondering, like, do we even need it? Besides just maybe worrying about GTA 6, is there actually a good reason for this? Are we going to be excited for this one? And so far, it does seem like the overall reception is kind of somewhat leaning that way. Now, I do think some people are pretty excited for the PlayStation 5 Pro. I think I am myself, but also a lot of people are kind of thinking, well, if my PlayStation 5 currently works, why does it matter? Why should I bother? If everything's working fine, shouldn't that be okay? Who knows? But at the same exact time, well, maybe people are just excited. Who knows? Like, it's a lot of what ifs at this point. A lot of what ifs this, what if that. But right now, people are kind of assuming that the PS5 Pro needs more of a reason than just GTA 6. And at this point, I kind of agree. So to go talk about this, talk about the details and everything else, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We have a little bit more left on the Samsung promotion link down below. Hashtag ad for the giveaway and also $100 pre-order sign up. We have the Twitter and Twitch stream down below if you want to follow. And of course, give me your thoughts and comments on everything down below. We'd love to hear it. So as we mentioned, we've been seeing some pretty big articles, pretty big leaks, and even Polygon themselves have kind of chimed on and saying that the PS5 Pro needs a reason to exist that's not just GTA 6. Now, I do think GTA 6 will be a console seller if it has a correspondence with it, it launches at the same time, whatever. But at the same time, I agree. You need something else. And what is that something else? No one knows. Is that ever going to happen? No one knows. So right now, it says leaks indicate the PlayStation 5 will get their mid-generation upgrade this year, but it might be a tough sell for Sony. And I do think I've seen a lot of skepticism on it too as well. So there is mounting evidence that Sony is preparing to release a more powerful PlayStation 5 model. And the sooner you might think, analysts have confidently predicted the new machine will launch by the end of 2024. While a series of leaks detailing its specs, a source from official Sony documentation distributed to developers gives us an idea of how big the upgrade will be. The strategy seems very similar to that followed by both Sony and Microsoft one console generation ago with the release of the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X, deluxe versions of their console platforms with upgraded specs released in the middle of the console generation. Although they want to say there's one big difference though between right then and now. When those two mid-generation consoles launched in 2016 and 2017 respectively, TV manufacturers were also pushing for 4K. And now don't forget too, Sony does also have their own TV line, or they're also pushing the Ultra HD displays hard, and people were buying them. There was an obvious need for consoles that were capable of outputting images at 4K resolutions, which neither the base PS4 or the Xbox One could do. This meant that Sony and Microsoft had a clear marketing peg too as well, although the big thing is going to be on the 8K. And this is where they're kind of making a big note on. And I would maybe somewhat agree, somewhat disagree, and I'll explain why. Saying 8 years later, it's harder to find similar external factors compelling the PS5 Pro to exist, besides maybe GTA and 6 and maybe 8K resolution TVs. So while higher resolution 8K screens are already out there, there isn't much 8K content available. And it's kind of true. Like right now, 8K is like basically like you have to install the hardware first, and then people will move their hardware over. Happened the same thing with 4K, 1080p, even 720p, and that's fine. Like it just is a very slow crawl for us upgrading all of our stuff. And they're saying right now, even at huge screen sizes, it's tough to tell even the difference between 4K and 8K because the consumer uptake is all so slow, and also at the same time, like we just don't really have the content for it. But as well, it's also just such a big improvement already from 720p to 1080p, that going from 1080p to 1440p to 4K to 8K, it's just diminishing returns and the overall detail. You could definitely tell the difference, I would say, between a 4K and an 8K, but at a certain point, it doesn't matter. Like it's crystal clear regardless, whether you're watching sports, whether you're watching like games, whatever it might be. And Sony has also reportedly told developers that it's working to add 8K support to the PS5 Pro, but it's also not guaranteed. So everyone's like, why do we want this then? So it's one of the other things on the rise that might help Sony sell the PS5 Pro, an even rarer event than a new generation of TV technology, which is the Grand Theft Auto game. Something that the analyst who predicted the PS5 Pro's 2024 launch on CNBC framed it as a preparation for the GTA 6's release in 2025, which would make sense. You basically want to have the best hardware and specs to go sell stuff for that. With Microsoft apparently skipping a mid-generation console upgrade this time, and a potential new model of the Xbox Series may have been leaked, as we covered up in a prior video, but it's not more powerful than the current Xbox Series X. Might just be a white Xbox Series X with just pretty similar graphics, maybe pure digital as well, slightly bigger storage. So Sony will be potentially able to just go completely leverage this PS5 Pro and take over the market if for anyone who wants that mid-consumer refresh. But a lot of people are kind of curious on what else you can kind of do. So if you guys follow the big details we talked about before too as well, they basically said that there is a lot of small things when it comes to the PS5 Pro, and it's enabling faster frame rates, so better GPU, higher display resolutions up to 8K, and also improved ray tracing, and also using their PSSR, which is the AI-powered resolution upscaler that Sony has made itself, which I think is still a pretty cool technology. Will probably be the talk of the town over time. Now, they did also kind of critique the CPU. I still think so, but all these upgrades are nice, but what are you going to use this for? What are you going to use all these specs for? GTA 6? Sure. Yes, I would agree. I won't argue that. But what else? Like, after you beat GTA 6 and you mess around the multiplayer a little bit, are you going to be sad you got this console? Like, what are you supposed to do? Now, there might still be future games, like the console generation doesn't end at GTA 6, but that's probably going to be the pinnacle. Like, I really can't think of any other game that might pop out better. Now, some PlayStation games might look a little bit nicer, maybe have a chance to run 8K, sure, but like, I do think GTA is probably going to be the pinnacle for all of it. In terms of ray tracing, the new setup is said to be 2 or 4 times faster than the base PS5. What this means in practical terms of the PS5 games that don't have ray tracing might be able to add it, and games with limited ray tracing features might be able to improve them, say by adding ray trace shadows or reflections. So it's kind of nice. Like, it's like a big improvement. Like, you just basically make everything a little bit nicer with the PS5 Pro. But one of the bigger things out there is that it's not a console seller. Like, I don't think so, personally. I'm excited for the PS5 Pro. I might buy one. But right now, it's not really a console seller. Like, having slightly better specs on maybe like a Ghost of Tsushima or God of War Ragnarok, I already beat the games. So what do I care? I already beat the games. So better frame rates, meaning smoother, more responsive action, will be a bigger deal for many gamers. But Laid Better warns that we need to set our expectations here. Which I'd agree. Like, you don't want to be too excited for the PS5 Pro because, once again, you beat GTA 6 and what else? So with many games, the frame rate just can't be improved by throwing more graphics, processing power at the problem. You need a faster CPU as well, and that's also the big critique so far, and I think I want to make a dedicated video on it because I just don't think a lot of people understand the importance of the CPU. And the CPU isn't that big. Like, they're saying the CPU gains appear very modest with a maximum of only 10% speed increase. It's not likely that the PS5 Pro will be able to run 30 FPS games at 60 FPS. So while some games may look nicer and have better shadows, it may not be the perfect game. This is why I want to make a dedicated video on it, because I don't want to sound like a hater, but like, it would be hard for me to myself personally to justify spending that little extra money on the PS5 Pro. Now, if you got the spare money, go for it. You want to go and enjoy GTA 6 because you work hard and or maybe you're a kid, you ask for it for a present. Maybe you don't already have a PS5, you get the PS5 Pro instead. I think those are all very good niche reasons of why you should get one. I'm supportive. I'm not against it. But it is kind of scary because there really isn't that much else reason. Like, it's a slight improvement, yes, but it's kind of like me right now. I have a 3080 Ti GPU. I could technically go and splurge and drop a few $100s and get a 4000 series card, or maybe the 5000 series card in the future if it's ever announced, but it's not really going to make that things much more efficient. Now, maybe from a 3K to 6K, it probably will be, but in my current PC, I don't really need it. Same with like a Pro. Like, it might be niche if you like break your console, or like I said, it's your first ever console, you spend the extra $100 to make sure it lasts a bit longer. Man, that's cool. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. But you just got to set your expectations good. Display resolution is likely where the PS5 Pro will win big, though. The combination of its extra GPU power, which is a 67% increase in theory, but more like 45% in practice, according to Sony's notes to developers, and the PSSR machine learning upscaler should lead to a dramatic improvement to image quality, though, which is still nice. Early signs are that the AI upscalers produce far more better results, too, as well, than other previous technology already in the old-school PS5 consoles, so it also seems really nice. So early signs are that the AI upscalers produce far better results than all this other previous technology, which I still think is dope. Like, I'm kind of cool with this for sure. And these are all a tremendous, powerful way of making up for the great expense and difficulty of manufacturing more powerful chips at the moment. So basically, they're just having a nice workaround to make sure it's actually profitable and people can make stuff out there. But they're also saying, too, as well, it's not only for high-end gaming. There's also early reports they'll be using Nintendo will be using NVIDIA's DLSS upscaler in the Switch 2 as well. So it's like all this technology is really nice to go and see that they have a chance to get 8K for the PS5 Pro, having better stuff for resolutions and a higher, like, crisper 4K. Although, once again, they need to go, if they want to sell this on its display alone, they have to admit that the PS5 itself is also not up to the task, almost like a catch 2022. Whereas, like, yeah, you can get this cool 8K on our PS5 Pro, but then what about, like, the 50 million PS5s? Well, and that also can maybe go and skew some people in a negative manner, which I would understand that too as well. Also saying too, there's also basically now the era of cross-generational games is mostly behind us, and many third-party PS5 and Xbox games are already struggling, which is also crazy to see. Lower internal resolutions combined with aging upscaling technologies are resulting in muddier image qualities, and people are kind of also saying that these consoles are maybe getting more left behind even quicker than expected, which is crazy to see. They're also saying that basically the PS5 Pro, if it is going to be doing this, it should be basically what the PS5 would have done, which also is kind of slapping the face of your prior audience, which is kind of lead to more issues too as well. That doesn't make for a terribly convincing sales pitch too, and I would probably agree. So if it's like a $600 machine, and I think it's still slightly better than a PC, I'd pick it up. Like, I think I'm not against it, especially if I didn't have my own PS5. Although I do agree it might not be needed, and we may not need this. Like, it may not be like something most people are looking for. But at the same time, if the price point's good, who knows? They're saying the most meaningful improvement offered, though, will be the image quality, meaning the sharpness of this image, how well it revolves the details, and how fully it uses the resolution of the display it's hooked up to. They're not saying it's not quite the same thing as better graphics, at least not in the way most people understand it. It's questionable on how many players are aware of the poor image quality on the base PS5, though, and I don't think many people kind of care that much. Like, I think it's good enough. Like, I'll take it for a $500 console. I've been running mine for a few years now. I got no issues with it at all. Like, I'm chill with it. But I do want to also agree, like, it's a hard upsell, though, because at the same time, it will still get dated over time, and, like, I'd rather just get a PC if I had to pick and choose. I don't know. It's kind of all the place. That's why I want to hear your thoughts, because there's a lot of little things you can kind of pick up over here. But basically, you're saying, like, hey, we need to have a reason besides just GTA to exist. And I do agree that PlayStation needs to give everyone a reason to go and enjoy it. Like, slightly better resolution and crisper qualities. Sure, that might sell some people, maybe myself included, maybe yourself too as well, but I also want to have some fun games that are not just GTA 6, and I want to see some cool PlayStation titles that will take advantage of everything, just so I have a chance to go and actually, like, you know, be happy with my console. So, I don't know, I can kind of see where these people are coming from. I want to hear your thoughts and comments down below. Check out the Samsung links down below if you guys want to. We have the Twitter and Twitch stream as well if you guys would like to go and follow that, and just appreciate you guys all so much for watching. Love you guys.